not take performance-enhancing drugs. That's been big in the news lately, and unfortunately, it is a problem in some schools. We have not had a major problem here, to my knowledge, and hopefully we never will. But they do have you promise to not take any performance-enhancing drugs, steroids especially, because they actually have a negative effect on youth and their development. So the last but not least is a concussion and head injury form that just once again needs to be read and signed off on and by you and by the student athlete and the parent guardian. And that is just come up. That's been in the news lately as well. The dangers of concussions. There's been numerous students throughout the we're speaking of concussion, and here comes the perfect time in our football coach, who's going to make sure that all our Coach Ruiz just walked in the house. Good to see you, Coach. And he's been working hard today, I'll tell you. He's been painting, he's been moving things. He's doing it. But got distracted. Talking about concussions, all coaches nowadays in the whole state, they have to actually take a class because it's such a dangerous issue. They have to take a class which they can identify if a kid gets bumped in the head there to identify the signs of a student who has a concussion. So enough of the boring stuff. Hopefully we'll get to a little more interesting things after that. You have to have an emergency card, which the coaches keep. And then we have added a student handbook, a student athlete handbook, and there's a parent consent form that says you've read the handbook because there's all the rules and regs are in it, what we expect of our students, and Coach, our Mr. Caden used to be a coach. He has helped put that together for us, and I think it's going to be a very valuable tool. And so something the student needs to read and the parents. And it gives you a ton of information. It answers a lot of those questions that you may have about what your son or daughter is doing in athletics or should be doing. So with that in mind, I'll pass it back to Coach again.
I do want to emphasize, and for those of you who have been an athlete here, listen to this carefully, because as Coach Henderson and I talked this summer, we wanted to create an athletic handbook that had really commitments from three parties. Number one, very important and most important, is the commitment on the part of the coaches. So you will find in our athletic handbook the commitments to which we expect our coaches to keep and to hold them to. So creating positive environments, to monitoring academic progress, to creating calendars and schedules so you know what to expect related to your practice schedules and your game schedules. All those commitments and expectations for coaches are published there. That's first and foremost. So it's not just about players and parents. Second, we have a lot of commitments that we ask of athletes, obviously. So you guys, kids in the room, you guys need to read that. And it's a little bit long, but we tried to cut it down as much as possible. So you know exactly what we expect of you. The last thing we ever want is for a coach to have a conversation that's a surprise to somebody and say, I didn't realize I had to show up to that game or practice, or I wouldn't be allowed to, whatever it may be. You need to know those things. And then finally, I think it's important as well, because parents who are here in the room, you guys are the ultimate role model and support for the student, not the coaches, not the teachers. It's the parent. And sometimes, I'm speaking now as a parent of 3 boys, it's really difficult to remember your role as a parent and what that involves and how to discuss certain issues with coaches, teachers, administrators, etc. So there are some commitments we'd like parents to make as well. And that's in the handbook. So we didn't want to print this multi-page handbook for you all tonight. We are eventually going to have a consent and acknowledgement form that says, yes, I've read it, yes, I understand it, yes, I commit to it. And it is on the website. We will have printed copies available to you if you don't have access to the website. But you're definitely welcome to go on the website anytime and look that over tonight, okay? We didn't know how many to make and didn't want to get ahead of ourselves. and you will have to return